Hello, Uganda, Africa, and the rest of the world. My name is Joshua Nyonshima, and this is URA TV. The show is A Moment with Caesar. And on Caesar today, we are having a man who has lived his 23 years in revenue mobilization, fighting corruption, and also making sure that he raises revenue for national development. He is none other than Abel Kagumire, the Commissioner Executive Office Operations. Abel,
Good morning.
welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm well.
I am happy to be here and I'm grateful for this show. And we hope we'll talk more about
To ease the atmosphere, let me just start from a writer note. Like, how do you spend your evenings?
how do I spend my evenings. I leave work at 6:30. I gym for 30 minutes and I'm with family for dinner. And I pray and sleep and come in office by 8 a.m.
Key things, gym, prayer, and then coming back to work. Oh, even family. So now let us speak to this. To an ordinary Ugandan who is watching URA TV, they see a commissioner, they see whatever other things, but who is Abel Kagumire?
Abel Kagumire is this young man who joined Uganda Revenue Authority in the year 2002. But before I joined the Uganda Revenue Authority, I was working with State House as a pay cadre. You know, pay cadres, they were sent to work with the Uganda People's Defense Forces, streamline the payroll of the army. By that time, they were what we call ghost soldiers. So our role was to go and computerize the payroll and do pay parades and make sure we get the right numbers. And we did a good job about 2 years. That's how I would start after campus. Then after that, I went and worked with the Special Revenue Protection Services. From there, I joined Uganda Revenue Authority in 2002. So that's my young days. I don't know that you wanted when I was born or after campus.
So now we have known you, the Abel of the UPDF side, State House, and Revenue Protection Service. So let us now come to the journey. How do you come to enter URA?
Oh, that's why. After doing a good job at Special Revenue Protection Services, we're in the fraud audit team. So I was in Iganga fighting smuggling in the waters of Lake Victoria. You know, when there was a landing site called Bugoto in Iganga, then we go to Eastern, Bujiri, Mayuge, all that stretch. So I was deployed there and we did a good job. So from there, we did a lot of recoveries, especially for supermarket cigarettes, wines and spirits. You remember those famous anti-smuggling units. By the time we were in anti-smuggling, Special Revenue Protection Service, the smugglers were armed. It's not these smugglers of today. They were armed. So you had also to be armed. So it was fire for fire. And that's why we went in and did an amazing job, especially on water, Lake Victoria. There was a lot of smuggling with the funny boats, not speed boats of these days. But we did wonders there. Then we were elevated to come and work at the headquarters of the Special Revenue Protection Service. And we spent 2 years doing that work. So there were opportunities at Uganda Revenue Authority. And since we had served in almost similar capacity, we applied and we competed and we were given because we had what to tell the board, the panel. So we had what to tell the panel and they gave us opportunity to work. And that's when we started in 2002. We're a team of about 45, but I remember in my team only 15 made it and went through. So the shortlist had about 45.
So
We are here in 2002. So we start. My first deployment in URA was with a section called post importation audit, because I was in fraud audit. I went in post importation audit, but that has been phased now in customs. Now they call it risk management.
risk management.
Yeah.
So we are seeing this journey at the start of the conversation. Everything is relating to integrity, eliminating corruption, and now this comes. We may go back further in the discussion, but now let us hint this with a nail when it's still hot. You are now in a position where you're heading a department that is centralized on fighting corruption and ensuring that there is integrity in the URA. With that history, how are you finding that?
No. It's, integrity is not about. Integrity is about what you do when others are seeing and what when they are not seeing. The whole you. That is the integrity. It's not about you. Abel, I've seen you doing. No, whether you're seeing me or you're not seeing me, that is me. So from day one, as a young child, me, I was taught by my mother, what does not belong to you, don't touch it. It's not yours. So I learned that as a young child, as I was growing up. So I knew that principle. Even when I told you I was in UPDF, paying, you know what they call paying soldiers and ghosts. You cannot corrupt me, whether you have a gun or you don't have one. Wrong is wrong.
Wrong. Okay.
I would ask, where are the soldiers? I want to pay them. Put them there. We don't have them. Others we have said, I will wait for them. When you bring them is when we will pay them. Until they say, you can take back your money. We don't have this soldier. And I go. That was me. But if I was corrupt that time as a young person from campus, I needed money. I would say, okay, but I knew the mission. I knew I cannot touch what does not belong to me. And that's how we managed to grow. So when you see that someone is not corrupt, it comes from far. It does not start when you are old or when you're mature. So even when you're here in URA heading the integrity, compliance, and ethics, you resonate with what takes place then. I worked in a URA when corruption was high. I worked in URA when we are fighting hard to fight corruption and phase it out. And I'm seeing you need to detest it first of all. It is wrong. It is a vice. You should not allow it in your life, even in the people that work with you. So you fight it. And how do you fight it? You lead by example. You lead by example. And people see, okay, if he has managed to survive, he also has a family. He's also, why are we stealing? Why we behave like we don't know where we're going? So that's why when we are fighting corruption, we start with us ourselves, demonstrate that it is possible, okay, to fight corruption. Then we put systems in place. By then we're in a manual environment, but now we've automated. It is easy to detect. You put controls in place, someone breaches them, to get you.
So when you say controls currently, what are some of those controls that are in place here in the Uganda Revenue Authority that are aimed at fighting and eliminating corruption in the organization?
So there are so many. First of all, we had to start with policies. Okay? And corruption is we have, first of all, you have the Inspector General of Government, then you have institutions fighting corruption, which will also come up to institution level. So we make sure we are aligned, first of all, to those policies and the laws that govern the fight against corruption. Secondly, we made sure that where we are now in URA, we make it we call them a corporate strategy for fighting corruption. It's no longer isolated in one division, integrity, compliance, and ethics. Every department is responsible for this. That's why in each and everyone's performance contract, if you're head of department, even in CG's contract, you make sure that that integrity risks, you raise them and submit them. When we go and find them ourselves, when you should have sent them to us, you are also held accountable as a leader. That never used to happen before. They would wait for us to go fish out the wrong rotten apples and then fish it. Now it's you to submit them. That's a very huge milestone that we have achieved in the fight against corruption. So it's no longer now a board's business. It is everyone's business. Then we put some areas. People thought corruption or integrity is all about money, someone getting a bribe and receiving a bribe. We said, no, it is beyond that. Disciplinary committees have to work. We have the Departmental Disciplinary Committee, which is managing what we call misdemeanors. You come late, you go there. You dress inappropriate, you go there. You sexually harass, you go there. You conflict of interest, you go there and they manage. Then those which involve fraud, which involved money issues, now they are escalated for investigation, integrity, compliance, and ethics. So their systems URA has put in place and strengthened with manpower, the Departmental Disciplinary Committee, the Management Disciplinary Committee, the Staff Appeals Committee.
So there's something I want to understand really. When we go to the 8 pillars of peace, those are the fundamentals in terms of peace. There are 2 that I would really want to hint about. There is low corruption levels and high human capital. High human capital. So how are we balancing the fight against corruption to still remaining with high human capital? Because these are 2 conflicting realities. Someone is hardworking, is bringing in the money, and then maybe there is some way they are corrupt. But then we also need to have low corruption. To you, Abel.
So what is core? The issue is what is core. You collecting more taxes, and then you also corrupt. What should be core? What should be core? Because when you're in this business of revenue collection, okay, revenue collection, it is a position of trust. The government has entrusted you to collect this revenue on its behalf. Now, whether you have skills collecting, thank you. Whether you are an accountant, or you know how to investigate, or you have intelligence, or you have wisdom, you have IT skills, thank you. You are not the only one who has them in this country, but you have been chosen to farm because the first thing we test before we recruit you is impeccable levels of integrity. Core, that is baseline. Leave alone your skills, whether you have a PhD, whether you have a master's, you have whatever, that is the what? Bottom line. You must be a person of high levels of integrity. So we assume that before you come in, that is what you start with. Like I've told you my story. That was the basic. Then the rest fall in place. The wisdom you got at university and the rest. Because the first thing, if you are corrupt, that's a vice. It's negative. You cannot say, no, I'm good at hacking, so I hack the systems of URA and steal data. That's negative. You hack, yes, you started hacking to benefit the organization working, not to steal from it. So if you say, since I am an expert in hacking, so I will steal, that means you lack the moral code that should be the epitome of why you are recruiting that organization. There is no one, even if it was your business, okay, that you recruit someone because he's skilled and he's going to steal your money. No way. It's the same in the organization. Thank you.
That is so interesting. Have the skills, but the core in URA is zero tolerance to corruption. And now let us switch a bit and go back to that story where you're telling us now you're an officer. Take us through the journey.
Yes, I come as an officer. I joined a system which was too manual. Young man, And I first, after being deployed in Fiat, they deployed me now in a place called warehousing. I interfaced with clients. That bonded warehouse, there's what in customs they call a bonded warehouse. I found it so busy. To bring used clothing, used stuff. By then, we used to import a lot of used stuff from outside country. So I would count 100% until the owner of the bonded warehouse said, "Where did they bring this young man? He's going to make my bonded warehouse collapse." Here we count 50%. 50%, the trader remains with 50%. I said, "What? And you allow that?" I worked there until the bond was about to close and I was transferred. So the leadership then felt that I should not allow the bond to close. The same question you are raising. You allow wrong to thrive because you don't want to close. I accepted and left that place. The bond almost closed, but up to now it closed actually. I think they continued with their corrupt practices. And then I was deployed in one of the sensitive areas of automation. This Ascuda you see here, that customs is using, started as Ascuda version 2.7. Then it went to Ascuda plus. Now I was one of the original people on the project team for Ascuda plus. Now it migrated from Ascuda plus to Ascuda World. Right now we are doing. So I was worked on that project. Then after it came into fruition, they deployed me in what they call the CBC, Customs Business Center. Now they call it the Document Processing Center. So I was there. And because they track you, when you have your people see you, they know how you do your things. I was put as an in-charge control desk. Now, in-charge control desk is the most powerful position in a document processing center. By then, it was called the CPC. You are the one who chooses, Niyonshima, I give you this entry to handle. You handle this one. You are like the system yourself using your head to select and choose who should handle. Control. Very powerful. So I worked there and diligently I served until they automated and upgraded to Ascuda World, which is now does automatic allocation of work to be done. So I enjoyed my work there. From there, I left and went to bus terminals. Bus terminals. It's like a market. The bus comes with small things and everywhere. I think you need to go there and see what happens in a bus terminal. It's a real market.
I think we should.
Any charge there, but I streamlined that place. But I make sure I start cages now, because we used to receive 8 buses. They all come and throw things there. So the innovation I did there was to separate now, create 8 cages: Akamba, Baska, this bus, Gateway. So every bus had its own cage. Then I assign officers. You're in charge of Akamba, you're in charge of this. And then I put controls. It stopped being a market from that day. Very organized. Then the people who offload from buses and put buses, I said, "You guys, I don't know you, I don't know where you come from, register here. We're going to put on uniform and I'm going to give you numbers." So they became casuals in a bus terminal, though I was not paying them. But you have to put controls, put sanity in that place. So when I left there, I competed. I became a supervisor, because if you can manage a bus terminal, what can you fail to manage there? It's a marketplace.
That was in which year?
In 2007. 2007 now.
So 5 years later.
Restructuring. I hope you know around 2005 there was restructuring. So 5 years later, I was supervisor at Malaba, in charge of outdoor. Now outdoor, Malaba was not tarmac, it was dust. So you are monitoring trucks coming in, trucks going out, and reconciling, make sure no one bypasses you. Very interesting job. Those who have worked in Malaba, every day you would clear 800 trucks, and you are only one supervisor. There's nothing working 8 hours. The trucks determine how long you will work. Sometimes you sleep midnight. Sometimes it was the most difficult job I've ever done, I think, which can stretch your body and build resilience. I think that's where I learned a lot of that. And then from Malaba, I worked there for 2 years as a supervisor outdoor. Then I again applied to be a manager. I became a manager in 2009. 2009, 10 there. Then I went to northern Uganda. Now, northern Uganda was the worst place in terms of smuggling. Yeah, my headquarters was in Arua, in charge of the whole region, from Karuma up to Kitgum, Kidepo, all that stretch, West Nile. Did well, two years. Now, 2 years, I did well, I think. They applied, they said, they just shuffled us. You manage another, and they make you manage enforcement operations. So I now came to headquarters. By then, enforcement would be in charge of the whole country.
So, how did you skip the money in enforcement?
The what?
I mean the backdoor money in enforcement.
How? I told you, if I failed to get it where there were guns, how can I get it when I am in charge here? I told you, skipping money is a personal choice. Even if they throw their money and you know it is not yours, why should you take it? Why should you take it? So it's not about someone is seeing you, someone is not seeing you. That's what I said. It is not your money. That's the bottom line. So if you are like, they are not seeing me, let me grab it, your 40th day will come. If you are still alive, you're not going to die. People will catch up with you. So the most ethical thing to do is to say, this is not my money. I cannot touch it. So those deals were there, but they know this is a no-go area. This is a no-go area. And if I would discover someone doing it, I would follow you out also. Because we were fighting corruption. And then from there, enforcement operation was hectic. The whole country, in charge of the whole country, enforcement operations, the borders, the smuggling activities. When I was there, in 2014, I put in again for assistant commissioner. I applied. Since I had started in audit, you remember, I used that experience of audit to compete. I became an assistant commissioner of customs audit. Now, while I worked there diligently following audits in customs, Putin also comes and they wanted an acting commissioner of customs. There were changes. I became acting commissioner of customs for 6 months. 2020, during COVID. I don't know where you were. Yeah, you should have seen me. Then after that, I became full commissioner of customs. Served 4 years in customs. I think by then we did. As a commissioner of customs, we did a lot of things, a lot of changes, transformation, electronic single window, the regional electronic cargo tracking systems. We put them in place. We started the document processing center processes and streamlining the processes in the document processing center. We streamlined the single customs territory. Our officers started work in Mombasa, Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, those bilateral agreements. A lot of developments in customs, really, we transformed customs. And revenue was coming first, second, third year.
So, let's go to the key wins in that area. Like, what were your key wins
The key
in that
wins
journey?
is what I have said. One, we were working with so many agencies in the customs space. We have UNBS, we have Ministry of Agriculture, we have trade, you have all intervening agencies in this consignment which has come. or with the consignment going out, export promotion board. So we said, these people are delaying our processes. We did a timely study, and then we tried to make sure that we manage that. So we started what we call the National Electronic Single Window. Up to now, it's on. Everyone logs on and clears goods in one stop. And it reduces time for clearance out of the system. You're in the same platform. So target, do what you want, finish, and we give you timelines when you should finish it. The other one was transit. By then, we would transit, cargo would come, reach Malaba or Busia, and it's going to DRC or South Sudan. You only have view when they are in your country. So we've transformed our electronic cargo tracking for Uganda national to a region. So now we would track your goods from Mombasa, from Dar es Salaam up to Elegu on the border with Elegu, South Sudan, and the border with DRC. That created visibility for you to see and plot how the goods are moving. I think the other huge achievement was the one-stop border posts. I did about 10 one-stop border posts. Started, and others, they've just completed them recently. Malaba, Busia, Mutukula, Katuna, Mpondwe, Goli, Elegu. Now they are doing the swamp. They have just completed swamp, but we had started the feasibility. So those one-stop border posts is that when goods will come, the concept, it's a juxtaposed. When the truck is, for example, with coffee or tea, and it's going to Brazil or wherever, China or wherever, it stops once on the Kenyan side. It doesn't have to stop on the Ugandan side. You stop there in Kenya, then the officers come and handle you from there. The Kenyan officers and the Ugandan, and you go. That's why it's called a one stop. Actually, now we are moving from one stop to a no stop. You just drive through and proceed where you're going, but we'll get the data. Come. The other one was the scanner, the non-intrusive inspection. It's still working well. You find that cargo, now we used to have to do 100% verification. Back, we verify. Back, we verify. See, you cannot verify 800 trucks. You collapse people. They will not do a good job. They will not show the work. So we started a scanner. Government supported us, and we bought scanners and fixed them. Now we risk manage. There are things which go through the scans. We check them and get the results and release you, and you go. So there are some of the many huge achievements, but also we expanded the structure for customs, and they created more stations like Southwestern and Midwestern, Northern. So, and revenue peaked 2021, 2022, 2020. The only year where we didn't hit and surpass the target is 2024. Whatever happened, but I think the targets, first of all, were raised, but also I think there were leakages which started coming through. These leakages that we are fighting now, group page, consolidated cargo, started manifesting around that year. So I think we are now fighting. If we fight and clear those leakages, we will get back.
So now we are seeing a 23-year journey in revenue mobilization. Another set of years still fighting corruption. If you had to go back to the 20 or 25-year-old, what's that one thing that you say, I would have done better?
In the fight against corruption?
No, like in your real life.
For me, what I could have done better. We really need to see how we can work with other government agencies. We are for example, in the fight against corruption, we are doing well to fight corruption in URA by the bigger government. Okay? Systems that we have put in place, if they can be taken to other government agencies, so that the whole government is looked at as speaking one voice in this fight against corruption. Me, I think that would be a game changer in this fight, because if you fight in-house and you don't, your neighbors, so like when you're living in a house and your neighbors are see, they will steal your things. So we need to transpose what we are doing here to other institutions of government, and so that the fight is wholesome, The other thing I think we would do better is to build leadership potential for our staff, and build capacity for our leaders to make decisions, especially at operational level. We are doing well up, but the in charges like of stations and supervisors are struggling to decide. So we find we are always as senior management making decisions which are operational. I think we need to do a lot of training, a lot of empowerment, a lot of coaching and mentoring, so that we empower these people to make decisions. And I think that is one of the areas we are strategizing to do through the tax academy programs, to build capacity for leaders. So you young people who have just come up, we look forward to you taking over the mantle from us and doing your best to grow this organization. You know, this organization is bigger than you as an individual. That's the most important thing you need to know. You will work and live with here. When you work, just make your contribution. Make your contribution, and everything will fall in place.
So, to wrap it up, work-life balance, how do you balance the two and you make sure you're fit, you're good?
That has been my challenge for some time, until last year when I went to France, NCL, and did some tests of my body and realized actually I might, if I don't do something, I have an issue. First of all, is to do with my health. Right? You lack vitamin D because you are seated at 7 a.m., you leave at night. So you have no sunshine. There is no sunshine. So it was affecting me. Then the weight was 93 kilograms, 92, when actually it should be 80 kilograms, 82. So I have to shed off all those 10 kilograms. So that's why I'm deliberate now on health, because you cannot work comfortably when you are unhealthy. Family, I've not given them time, and that's what I am working on. I've not given them time, and they are getting used to know that daddy and mommy, my wife, is a night man, comes to sleep and goes back to work. So I'm trying to create time now to be with them, especially weekends. Give them my Saturday, the whole of Saturday, give them the Sunday with them, and I try to make sure they don't sleep before I pray with them. So I should be home by 9:30. I should be home, be with them. So, but holidays with them, I'm struggling. It's another area I need to work on. If I can get time to go with them for holiday and relax. But it's very, very important for your vitality, for you to be energized. Because if you give all to URA or to your workplace and forget about your family, these are people who will be there for you. So you lose your children, you lose what you are there. At the end of the day, why are you working for? If you're not working for your family, whom are you working for? So it's important to give them time. If they're in school, help them out with homework, visit them at school. I used to pay school fees, stop there. Visitation, nothing. So I want to improve in that area. Thank you.
So we have spoken it all, but as we say bye to the audience, the people that are viewing us, I would love you to speak to that gentleman or lady that wants to rise. Either it could be in business or in career, is taking a shortcut the right way to go. And also, you give us your parting shots.
Oh, thank you. I want to tell you, my dear, that every human being is born differently. And the first thing you need to know is that you need to live what they call a purpose-driven life. Actually, there's a book by Rick Warren. He talks about a purpose-driven life. If you want to be successful, you don't just wake up and become successful. There's effort. There's a lot of planning that you put in. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of how you manage your finances. There's a lot of how you manage your lifestyle. There's a lot you put in make sure you advance your skills. There's a lot of skills on how you can build your capacity to lead and you be seen to be leading. There must be innovation in what you do. You have to build resilience around you. Those are very, very important issues if you want to live a purpose-driven life. But if you don't have a vision and where you're going, you find yourself rotating around the same place all the time. But you must know, in 5 years, I should be supervisor. In 10 years, I should be manager. In 15 years, I should be commissioner. Then that done in your life, or it should be this one. You purpose and work towards that. The trainings you do, whatever you do, is very important. But also, like found way without finances, it's tough. The things we are talking about fighting corruption. If you don't know how to live within your means, you will find yourself trying to touch what does not belong to you. Learn to live within your means. Don't pretend. Don't a young man today is Subaru, then the next day you're in a Range Rover, you even don't have fuel for a Range Rover, you are renting. So why? If you want to show off, you live within your means. It helps and it keeps your integrity high. But also, as you do that, build networks. It's important to build networks that add value to your life. For me, it has helped me over years. If in Hiroshima I see 1 month, no value addition. Every time you're taking, I'm not getting anything from you. I don't write to you off, but you see my calls not coming because you're not adding value to my life. So I look for people who add value to my life. Build networks and I won't add value to your life. But also the other thing I would end with, put God first on whatever you do. Give God an opportunity to lead your life and He'll guide your steps all the way. Give God opportunity first. Don't do things on your own. I read this, I did this. No, God comes first in whatever you do. Give time to God for prayer, go to your church, go to your mosque. Please have that spiritual nourishment that comes to your life to help to shape your character. God will guide you all the steps of the way. Thank you very much.
And of course, me, I was seriously taking note of everything. Give God a chance to lead your steps. Resilience, have a vision, build networks. It was a pleasure having you on Yura TV. And once again, this is a Moment with Caesar show. My name is Joshua Nyonshima.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.